Okay, go ahead.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are brand new to meeting me or having a workout with me, my name is Kelly Kauffmann. And thank you so much, Michelle, and to the MS Bright Spots of Hope for letting me host this workout today. I am a certified personal trainer, a 500 RYT yoga instructor, and an integrative nutrition health coach. And I'm here today to do a workout that incorporates a playground ball, just a simple ball, one that has a little give because we're going to use that for resistance, and also dumbbells if you have it. If you do not have a playground ball, you could also use a pillow, like a decorative couch throw pillow. The firmer the pillow, the better, because you want to be able to kind of push it and have some resistance against it. So that would be an option. You could also use a yoga block, especially the foam yoga blocks, but you're not going to feel as much of that give with the yoga block. So just something that's around the same size, any of that would work. If you do not have dumbbells, you can still do the workout, just range of motion. You'll also want a safe, sturdy chair with no arms. This is my chair. And most of these exercises, some of them have to be seated, but several of the exercises can be done standing or seated. So you can gauge that according to yourself. Whether you're seated or standing, you're always going to have your good posture position, where your chest is lifted, your belly's firm, your shoulders are relaxed. If you're seated, you'd be rooted into the sitting bones and into the flats of the feet. And if you're standing, then you would be rooted into the four corners of the feet, a little softness through the knees, and again, that same firm posture and lifted chest. I'm going to begin with a little warm up. So I'm not going to use the ball just yet, but I wanted everybody to know what they have and to be prepared. So for the warm up, if you have the safe ability to stand and you want to stand up and warm up, then feel free to. We're going to do some marching, some other things. If seated is best for you, you can follow along with knee raise marching, with marching from your chair. So we're just going to begin with a little bit of a warm up. So just begin to move the body a little bit. If you're in your standing marching stance, if you need a support, you could bring yourself behind the chair or adjust your chair so that you have that for support. It could also be close to a wall or whatever you need. So we're just marching through, moving arms and legs, firming through the belly, lifting through the chest, just getting the body awake a little bit. And just imagine that good posture as we begin to lift those knees a little bit. We're drawing the chest open. I'll show you a little side view, how those upper arms are moving so that you're really allowing yourself to get some heat built up in the body. Keep going while I'm talking. For those of you standing, continue marching. For those of you seated, you could be doing a little knee march. You could be helping the legs if needed. You're firming the belly, you're keeping it safe for you. If you're seated and the legs are getting tired, you could start some little arm movements as well, or some arm swings instead of those leg movements. You could alternate, or you could do them both at the same time. So we're still just all in a march, in a movement, trying to move the arms and the legs in a bent arm position. Nice. Beautiful, just really letting the body warm up. And then from this place, we're going to focus a little more on the upper body. You could still march through this, but if you would like to stay rooted and safe and just need to focus on the upper body, you can do just upper body movements. So we're doing just a little swim stroke. We're opening the chest. We're just feeling the body open up. So you can see the arms are coming back behind the body, really moving the body. You could also be doing this from seated. So it's your choice, standing or seated. Just really waking up and heating up the body. Let's take big, nice, long inhalations and exhalations as we warm the body, making sure we get plenty of oxygen, but that we're also releasing all of our air. So as you're moving, you can move at your own speed. I forgot to mention at the beginning, but you could also set up your own music for this. If you would like music for your workout, I encourage you, it's okay, turn on your radio or turn on some kind of music that you like. It is okay to have music during this. I just want to make sure my voice projects and that I'm cueing so you can have whatever music is good for you. So we're just swinging through those arms a little bit. And now, again, it could be seated, it could be standing. Go back to that little leg movement, getting those legs heated up. So even though the arms could be moving with the legs, I want the legs to be the focus right now, the firming of the belly, really heating up the body. Beautiful. And now I'm going to stand, soften those knees. It could be done from seated. And now a little bicep curl and tricep press, but just really swinging instead of squeezing. So we're using this for warm up, for aerobic warm up, rather than for strength right now. We're still warming those muscles. I like to really use the fingers, the palms. You could use a little movement through the hands. We're getting the blood circulating. If you'd like to march while you do this, you certainly can, but make sure it doesn't take away your attention from the belly pressing into the spine, making sure your balance feels good, making sure you're about a hip's distance apart with your stepping so that the feet aren't coming super close to each other. We're keeping that safe stability, that hip distance stability. Keep going. It could look like this from a chair, swinging through, getting the blood pumping, feeling that heat, hopefully feeling the body heat up a little bit. Nice. And then from this place, you guys, again, it could be standing or seated. I'm going to stand to show it the first time through. We're just going to firm the belly, soften the knees, root the feet into the earth, and inhale, reach and reach and reach. Get a little stretch. Now I know it's hard to see my arms, so you guys stay there. I'm going to sit down and show you. You could circle the wrists and cinch the belly in on top, and then reverse the wrist direction. And then just sweep the arms out and down. So you could do the standing. I didn't realize my hands wouldn't show, so that's why I'm going to do it seated. Lifting, lengthening. You could be standing or seated, then wrist circles on top. Press the belly into the spine. Feel your good posture, feel your nice root. Make sure the knees have a little softness if you're standing so that your thighs are holding you rather than your knee joints. And then sweep the arms out and down. And now we're just gonna roll the shoulders, whether it's seated or standing. A little circular motion. It can be small circles or it can be larger circles. But feel the circle, I'll show it from the side, tracing all the way around. So they roll forward and up, and then they roll back. So you'll feel all of those upper body muscles, your chest, your lats, your blade bones, your scapula, your deltoids. You'll feel everything kind of have to move with you. And then relax that out, shake it out a little bit. All right, from here, you guys, let's come to a seated position for just a little while. In our seated position, I want you to sit in your good posture position, belly's pressing into spine, chest is open and lifted, shoulders are relaxed. And just take a little neck stretch. The right ear falls to the right shoulders if you've fallen asleep. Shoulder blades are level and low. It's just a gravity stretch. And then with the belly firm, gently let the chin draw down towards the chest. But I want your energy to really be focused on the shoulder blades sliding down the back. And now the left ear towards the left shoulder as if you've fallen asleep. Shoulder blades are level and low. Face is soft. And then the chin towards the chest. The shoulder blades are sliding down the back. Nice, lifting the head to neutral. Just a couple more stretches before we get started. So from a seated position to start, lengthen one leg. You'll want to scoot towards the edge of your chair. Your bent knee is safely rooted and planted with all four corners. You sit tall, and then you can lean forward and get a little hamstring stretch. So we're just stretching out the long leg. I am anchoring my hands on my lap. I'm making sure that I'm not so close to the edge that I can fall out of the seat, but feeling leg stretch. If you wanted to, keep holding this, but for those that wanted to do this from a standing position, you would sit the booty back, draw the body forward, and feel that same leg stretch. So you could do it either way. Breathing as you hold that stretch, and then firm the belly to bring the crown to the sky, stack the bent knees if you're seated, and then the opposite leg lengthens. So you get really tall, you engage the core, and then you safely lean forward with a lengthy spine rather than a rounded back, feeling a little bit of hamstring, maybe a little bit of low leg too, because I know it's hard to see you can't quite see my toes, but I'm flexing my foot. So I've got a flexed foot as I'm lengthening forward in that stretch. Could also be done from standing if you're safe doing so. Nice. And then crown of the head tall, anchor back. Now we're gonna spread the knees wide for one more stretch. So if you're seated, I would encourage that wide leg position. Mid ankles are underneath the knees. Firm the belly, toes are wide, and make sure that you're gonna be safe. You could have a chair planted in front of you if you do not feel stable to have something to push onto. I'm just gonna prop my forearms on my thighs and lean forward. Belly's firm. You could also use a chair. I could use my ball or my block to give me a little anchor so that I have something to hold on to as I come forward. And then firm the belly, draw both hands to your right knee. Like the chest is coming over that right, getting a little lumbar spine stretch and side body stretch, a little bit of a twist. And then firm the belly, come back through center, and then we go to the opposite side. So both hands coming to the left knee, feeling the chest press forward. It's okay to move at your own speed. I'm kind of moving through things, but also trying to hold during the stretch. So if it takes you a little longer to get into the pose, it's okay to hold it to your level and just even that stretch out. And then come back to center, firm the belly, lifting up. Nice. We're coming back to that seated position. And then the last stretch series, I want to get a little lumbar stretch. So I call this just tie the shoes. I'm going to sit really tall. I've got my legs in front of me. Lean forward with a long chest spine first. And then slide the hands down to the outsides of the shins or the ankles or all the way to the shoes, whatever you can reach. Then you could even drop the head. You could let the chest rest on the belly, but then firm the belly, lift the heart first, and sit up tall. And then doing that again, lean forward with a long spine with belly firm, and then let the hands come down to the ankles or the shins or the feet, whatever you can reach. Feel that you're balanced and rooted on your feet and your sitting bones. And then engage the core. Lift the chest first to lengthen the spine, bring hands to lap, push yourself up. Beautiful. So hopefully we're all loosened up a little bit, and I'm going to prepare to start with the playground ball. So take the time you need to grab your playground ball, and with your playground ball in your hands, I got a little time clock, and every once in a while I'll need to make sure that I can see that. I want to make sure I'm getting enough exercise in. So from here, I want you to grasp that playground ball with the palms of your hands. Feel that has a little bit of give. You could be using your couch pillow, you could be using your firm pillow, or even your yoga block. And then with belly firm, sit as tall and rooted as you can. Lengthen those arms out. And then we're just gonna create a little infinity symbol or a little figure eight. So it's still a little bit of a warm up, but we're also getting used to the playground ball. So I don't need a lot of push on the ball right now. It's really more about keeping your posture good. So if you wanted this workout to be a little more active, this is a perfect example. You could be doing a standing up, and that would be okay. It's just a little more to check as far as your balance and your posture. So keep going with this. You will find that with long arms, this will get taxing pretty quickly for some people, but you could stay seated, or some people might be doing this from a standing position. Just make sure that you're keeping that posture nice and tall, that you're not beginning to slump. And if you're standing, constantly checking that your knees are soft, your weights, your root is in the thighs, the glutes, and the core. So keep going while I'm talking. I'm coming back to seated because that's where I'll show most of these things from. I'm trying to just move through these exercises long enough for everybody to get a good warm up. You could be taking breaks in between. And now, hopefully those shoulders and arms can feel the heat. Bring the ball back. Again, you've got the ball at the palms. And then I just want you to press the ball together. The ball could be lightly skimming the chest area. You're seated nice and tall. So the work phase is squeezing the ball and then releasing the ball. Squeezing the ball and then release. We'll feel this through the belly muscles for support and through the biceps muscles, also a little through the chest. So think about squeezing the pectorals and the biceps. And here we go. Number one. I know we've already done some. Those were bonus. Number two. Number three. Number four. And release. Number five. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Make sure those chest muscles are still open. Number 9. Number 10. 11. And 12. Beautiful. Shake that out if you need. You could be standing or seated for this. Now we take that same starting position. We push the ball in, and then keeping the ball pushed in without letting it fully release, we just pulse. So little bitty palm pulses. So it's going to add a little extra heat to what we were already doing with those ball pushes. So the ball is skimming the chest. The arms are out of the side. I'm showing it from the side here. Lifted nice and tall, doing pulses to feel a little extra engaged. Might be building some heat through those biceps. Nice. Keep going a little more with those pulses. I'm glancing at my notes every once in a while, but you guys keep going. Beautiful. All right, and then coming back, releasing those arms to shake it out. You want to give those wrists a little shake every once in a while. If you're not used to pressing the playground ball, that's flexion of the wrists, and sometimes the wrists can get tired. So anytime you need to stop, set the ball on your lap, and give the hands a good shake, please do so. The next exercise we're going to do can be done standing or seated. So you choose your stance, firm the belly. We're going to hold the ball out long. And then from this place, squeezing the belly, bringing the ball into the chest, and then lengthening the arms. Into the chest and lengthening the arms. So if you want more resistance, some people, just the weight of the arms is, you're going to feel this already. But if you need more resistance, simply push the ball with a little more firmness. And you're really going to feel those biceps along with those chest muscles. You'll feel your belly muscles keeping you tall. So rather than go to a specific number, I'm going for fatigue, because different ones of us doing this workout are going to be working at different speeds. So I want you to keep moving until your body is fatigued and you need a little break from that set. When you do, it's time to just bring the ball to the lap, relax out the shoulders, because I want to make sure that the shoulders have recoup time. The next movement, firming belly into spine, long arm directly at chest level. Your feet are still rooted, so you're nice and stable. This is going to really incorporate the core because we're going to twist. So with your tummy tight, very slowly trunk rotate to your right only as far as you can. And then you come back to center, and then you trunk rotate to your left as far as you can. Now your hips and your knees are still facing forward, and you come back to center, re-squeeze the belly each time. Trunk rotate to the right, then squeeze back to center, trunk rotate to the left, and squeeze back to center. And again, we are working with long arms. So this little tiny playground ball gives a tougher workout than people think. So you work at your speed. Every repetition you do, you re-lengthen yourself. You make sure the belly pulls you to the center, and the belly is still working while you're trunk rotating. You're always staying nice and tall rather than rounded. And you could be doing this standing if you choose. Just make sure you feel stable. And if you're standing, it's sometimes hard to think about, but the hips and the knees are still trying to face forward. So those front hip bones are facing forward, those knee joints are facing forward. So whether it's standing or seated, we're utilizing the core, we're utilizing our trunk rotation muscles. And then the next time that you finish up a sequence, a repetition, come down, shake out those arms, because that can build heat. Shake out wrists, shake out shoulders, shake out anything you need. And then from here, sit nicely tall, engaging the core, press the arms into the body a little bit, and just, I want you to squeeze the ball so that you have that resistance, and you're going to feel the biceps. So the elbows and arms are tucking in against the body, shoulders are low, and the hands are also pressing into the ball. And then lift the ball to where the chest is on the ball, and then bring the ball down to the lap. So it's a bicep curl. So what adds resistance is your push into the ball. So the harder you press the ball, the more resistance you should feel in your biceps muscles. So if you're pressing a pillow instead, if you're pressing a yoga block instead, if you're using a yoga block, it doesn't have to be flat, it could be wide, it could be long. Press the yoga block in the way that feels most natural. So keep going with these repetitions. I'm not worried about your number, I'm worried about fatigue, and I'm showing this that how you could be doing it standing, and it would give you a bigger range of motion standing. Plus, those of you that are doing standing and seated, a little of both, you're getting all the more work from getting up and getting down. So we're pressing the ball to get that bicep squeeze, and we're also keeping the biceps close to the body. Squeezing up, slowing down, squeezing up, slowing down. Feel how pushing on the ball adds that extra resistance. And then if you need a little softening, you could still do the range of motion without as much push. Nice, keep it going, keep moving while I'm doing this check. Still moving those bicep curls up and down. Nice, beautiful job. All right, you guys, relax that out a little bit, relax that out. We're now gonna give the upper body a little break before we do more upper body. So we're gonna place the ball in between the knees. So I would want you to be seated for this portion. You would come down to your seat, you would sit in your good posture position, feet are rooted, they're nicely stacked, mid-ankle underneath knee. Ball would go in between the knees and the beginnings of the inner thighs. And we're just doing inner thigh at first. So toes are straight from toe to heel. And just like we pressed the ball before for one of our first sets, we're pressing the legs now. So those inner thighs are engaging the adductor muscles to squeeze and release, and squeeze and release, and squeeze and release, squeeze and release. Hold that squeeze long enough to feel the inner thighs really work. Squeeze and release, squeeze and release, squeeze and release, squeeze and release, squeeze together, release it, sitting tall, squeeze together, release it. Nice. Now the next one, just like we did with the chest and the biceps, we're gonna squeeze the ball and then keep the tension instead of releasing. And then from that squeeze position, we pulse. So you squeeze even more, pulsing. So pulsing, I'm not keeping a count on, I'm more thinking about fatigue level, but I want you to refocus your attention on your good posture, your belly firming all the time while you're doing those pulses. You should really be able to feel the inner thighs. You could be using a nice firm pillow and pulsing. Find what works for you. This is where that little bit of give on that playground ball can really add a lot. So hopefully you feel those pulses, you feel that you're still tall. Do you feel your inner thighs? I hope so, that's the goal. And then slowly release. Let that out, kind of shake those legs out, step or extend, whatever you need, because we're gonna go back in. We're gonna have to use the inner thigh a lot when we're using the ball. So from this place, I'm gonna place the ball back in its spot in between the knees and the inner thighs. So you're tall in your chair. It's important that for this next exercise, the exercise is leg extensions. Your rooting foot stays planted. You can use hands at the sides of your chair. I want your good posture and your belly firm. Let's take our right leg, squeeze and extend it out, engaging the thigh muscle, and come back down. And number 2, squeeze it out. Number 3, extending that leg. Number 4, extending. So you're kind of having to squeeze that ball all the time to keep that ball in place, right? But you're still seated tall. Engage the thigh muscle, squeeze it out. Extend that leg out. You can move at your speed, you can adjust. I'm not worried about the number. You keep track of your individual number. If you have 8 reps on one side, you want to go for 8 reps on the other side. If you go for 10 reps on one side, you want to go for 10 reps on the other side. Sitting tall and sitting tall. Nice. And then if you need a little mini break, you can release, make sure you get your posture back, because we're going to even out those leg extensions. So place the ball in between the knees and inner thighs. So you want space in the upper inner thighs. You want the ball to be close to where the knee joint is. And then give it a little squeeze. Give yourself your height. And then extend that left leg. So we're working on the second side, whatever side you need to even out. Squeeze the top thigh and release. Squeeze the top thigh and release. Feel the squeeze through the thigh rather than the knee joint. Beautiful. Keep it going. Lengthen the leg, releasing, sitting tall. 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 Lengthen it. You're moving to your number. If you get fatigued and need a little rest in between, feel free to do that. Keep it going. Couple more. Yes, beautiful. Take that ball out. Shake that out a little bit. Just know that we're getting ready to move in a different way with the ball. So I'm going to give the legs a little break before we do more lower body, and we're going to go back to upper body. So place the ball between the palms. This is another one that could be done standing or seated. I'm just going to show it seated so that you can see full range of motion. Sitting tall, firming the belly. Start with the nice long arms so the ball will be somewhere around the knees, and then cinching the belly in, slowly lifting up as high as you can with your range of motion, then keeping the belly firm and coming back down. I am more concerned with keeping the torso long and the belly firm and having that nice range of motion than I am with speed. It does not have to be a fast move, because especially if you have one arm that's weaker, sometimes you kind of have to work towards that weak arm so that both arms can move together. So only go as fast as your weakest side can go. Lifting tall, cinching belly in and coming back. You might be going to the sky, but you might be just going to eye level, and that would be okay, or ear level. Maybe it's chest level. Maybe your ball's only going up and down for part of that range of motion. I want you to keep it feeling safe and keep those elbows lengthening. So if your elbows start to bend as you're rising, focus on how high can you get the ball with the elbows still long, and then come back down. That would be your range of motion that I want. However high you can go safely with your elbows still long. When they start to bend, when they start to fall, I would rather have a shorter range of motion and good posture and all those things set in place. Beautiful. Nice. Bring that ball into the lap. Shake out the arms a little bit. Shake out that heat. And then now, this is similar, but it's different. This would be, the first one was simulating a front raise with dumbbells. This one is simulating a shoulder press with dumbbells. So we're going to press on the ball, but now the arms are bent and the ball is kind of setting on the chest. Get your root of your feet and your sitting bones, firm the belly. You could be doing this standing with belly firm. Raise above the head, and then bring the ball back to the chest. Raise above the head, lengthening those elbows. Bring the ball back to the chest. Keep going while I'm talking. Tummy's tight. I'm showing if you're standing, you've got that nice good posture. You can have softness in the knees. Make sure it does not wear on your low back. If you are standing and you feel your low back muscles when you do this, then you might want to try it seated instead. Firm the belly. Even if you are seated, if you feel your low back muscles, then do a lesser range of motion, keeping the belly nicely set. Beautiful. If you needed more resistance, you could give the ball a little push, but I am more concerned with your elbow lengthening and your belly firming and your lifting through the torso. So everything's about good form first, then adding more challenge later after the form is perfect. Feeling your breathing, always flowing the air. You could be exhaling as you lift, inhaling as you come down, but as long as you are moving the air and not holding breath, you can breathe however you like. You might be listening to your music, it might be keeping you going. So allow yourself that freedom to just have a good time with your movements. A little more. Beautiful. Bring it back down. Shake out those shoulders. Really nice. All right, so from this place, we're gonna go into a little different bit of a series. So make sure, okay. So we're gonna do a little rotator cuff. We're gonna press the elbows against the body. And so if you're looking at yourself from the side, those arms are at torso level, the chest is lifted. And then you're gonna get to let one hand, I'm gonna start with my right hand, take the ball out, but my elbow and my arm is still pressing against the body. And then you come back to center, and then the other hand takes the ball, and you come back to center. So you alternate, and the other hand comes out. So all the while, I can feel my upper arms still pressing close to my body. It's like my elbows and my upper arms are glued to my body. I can only swing the gate open, and I can swing the gate closed. Firming belly, swing the gate closed. Nice. I'm more concerned with form than the number. It's okay if you're keeping count, but I would rather you go to fatigue level. Pressing belly into the spine, sitting tall, feeling how the forearm has to work differently when it presses out with the arm still in the body. Only go to what your weakest side can do. So it's okay if your range of motion is less. We're also getting a little bit of grip strength here as we have to kind of grip onto the ball, right? You could be doing this slower than what I'm doing this. You could also be doing this in a standing way, but nothing changes with the way we're setting up of the upper body. Feeling that little ball movement. Nice. I'm going to sit down for the next exercise. When you're evened out, go ahead and have a seat. And then from this place, we're just going to practice grip strength. So take the ball in one of your hands. I'm going to take it in my right hand and just cup the ball, you know, like a suction cup, and let your fingers, your spread fingers, grip all around. So we're practicing our grip strength, which is very good for the wrists, for the hands, for the fingers, for dexterity. So just feeling that grip strength. We don't have to do a lot of these. I don't want to overwear the hands, but enough that you're feeling that grip. So the more give your ball has, the better off here, so that you can really, you know, have something to grip. And then in that same hand, take that arm and lengthen it down. Sit really tall. I recommend doing the seated if you're not familiar with it. You could do them standing. It's done a lot of times that way, but just to really get the form. And then just let the ball fall down as if you're going to set the ball down, and then you come back up. So we're working obliques, squeezing the love handle and then squeezing the opposite love handle to come back up. So that ball might touch the ground, it might not. But I want you to keep your torso nicely open so that we're not rounding the back to get the ball down. That ball and that arm are at our side instead of us coming forward to release the ball. Sitting tall, releasing the ball, pulling it back up. So right ribs pull you down, left ribs pull you up if the ball is in your right hand. You're using your sitting bones and your feet to root. And then one more time. And then from here, we're gonna lift both arms, switch hands, bring both arms down. Firm the belly, sitting tall, lift both arms, switch hands, bring both arms down. Now don't forget which arm you started with, because we're gonna even you out. I started with my right hand. So eventually after these, I'm gonna finish off with my left hand. But we're just passing the ball back and forth, a little bit of a morning time stretch, lifting the arms, switching the hand that the ball is in. Lifting the arms, switching the hand that the ball is in, and one more time, lifting the arms, switching the hand that the ball is in. So now I have the ball in my opposite hand, the one that I have not done the grip strength or the side crunch yet. So make sure that your ball is in the opposite hand and we practice the grip strength. So your hand, I'm showing it from here, your palm is nicely open and you're just squeezing that ball. You're sitting tall, you're practicing your grip strength, strengthening through the palm, the fingers, the wrists, and the forearm. Feel that grip strength take hold. Nice, just keeping it nice and light and easy, but allowing yourself to get that strength of gripping. Beautiful. You could even think about the individual fingers, just noticing, even though you're using all of the fingers to grip, if you have certain fingers that are stronger than others, try and feel that, because that's something that you want to keep a check on to make sure that you keep good grip strength. So really kind of using and analyzing your body in these movements. Now we're going to release the arm so that the long arm that's holding the ball is just down at the side of the body, belly's firm, sitting tall, and then you squeeze the love handle to let the ball release to the floor or close to the floor. Squeeze the opposite side to come back up. So you're flattening the belly and you're using the obliques at the same time. Shoulders can be nice and low. We don't have to shrug the shoulders. We just have to use the torso. Releasing down and lifting up. And 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 releasing down and lifting up and releasing down. Nice, beautiful job. All right, so from here, we're going to bring that back. Let's do a couple more of those. Raise the hands, switch the arm. So we're creating a little bit of a morning time stretch. Your arms are going to form a rainbow as you're bringing those arms back down, and then they retrace the rainbow coming up. Your biceps end up around your ears because you've got that nice range of motion. Beautiful. Firming the belly. Nicely done, you guys. Shake that out through the shoulders. We are releasing the ball. There's so much more I want to do with the ball, and I hope we get to do a little more, but I want to make sure to keep a check on time. And I told you we would use dumbbells as well. So we're going to take a hold of some dumbbells. Let's start with moving 2 dumbbells in a bicep curl. So you can use whatever pound dumbbells you like. Biceps are a little stronger than some of your smaller, a lot stronger than some of your smaller muscle groups. So if you are able to use, for instance, I can use a 3-pound in my shoulder press. So I might grab my heavier dumbbells, my 5 pounds for my bicep curls. So if you have 2 different sets of dumbbells, you could use a larger one, but listen to your body. Firm the belly, lift through the chest. The arms are gently at the sides, and then you raise, bending at the elbow so that the knuckles come towards the shoulders, and then you slowly come back down. So this is just a basic front curl. We are squeezing the bicep muscle, making a muscle as you come up, and slowly engaging as you come down, making the muscle to come up, and then come back down. Some things to watch for. This could be done standing or seated. So if you would rather do the standing, do so, but don't let it take away from squeezing the biceps, making the biceps the main thing. Squeezing the biceps. Some things that you can think about. Some people tend to bring the dumbbells in when we actually want to try and stack them so I like to tell people, think about your pinkies coming to the mid or outside shoulder, because it keeps us from drawing those dumbbells in too far. So if you think about your pinkies coming towards the outsides of the shoulders to keep those arms in good alignment as you squeeze the biceps and as you come back down. It's okay if your elbows come forward a little bit in order for the fingers to come closer to the shoulders, but the nice control. I'm going to show that from the side, squeezing up. So there's a little movement of the upper arms, and that's okay. They do not have to stay pinned all the way to the body, but you want to keep that good form. You also want to make sure you're squeezing the muscles rather than just swinging the arm. There's a difference between a squeeze of the muscle and a swing of the arm. So those are things you're looking for. Like I said, I'm just going to fatigue, so hopefully you're starting to feel that. When you're ready, come back down, shake that out. So now I'm going to put one of my dumbbells down, and I'm actually going to use the other dumbbell. So this is going to be a chest move, and I would like you, for the purposes of this, to sit in your chair, and I want you to be sturdy with your good rooted position. But then if you have a chair with a back on it, I'm hoping that your sturdy chair has a back on it, you could lean back to feel the back of your chair. But I want to make sure that you do not have the ability to slide out of that chair. You have to be safe first. So if it doesn't feel safe, come out of it. Make sure your feet are underneath you and rooting. And then I'm going to bring my one dumbbell and hold both ends of the dumbbell at my upper chest. And then I'm just going to lift and lower. So this is my little incline bench that I've created. I'm squeezing my chest as I lift, and I'm coming back. So keep going while I'm talking, but please make sure that you're safe in that chair. I'm going to show that from the side. So my legs are firmly rooting me so that my lower body is not sliding. My back feels lengthy, but I feel comfortable on the back of the chair, squeezing the chest and the arms as I lengthen and I come back down. And I lengthen and I come back down. And I lengthen and I come back down. And lengthen and come back down. So you keep going, taking it at your speed while I readjust. And then you are preparing to lift the crown back to the sky to come back to that full seated release from that exercise. The next one, I want to incorporate some larger muscle groups. So this could be with no weights, or it could be with weights. It's going to be sit stands. So for those of you that can get up and sit down, you may have already been doing a little of that already, but I want you to firm the belly, lean forward, let the arms if you have dumbbells, you could have the arms down at the sides. If you're not using dumbbells, you could use assistance with hands at the side of the chair or do this however you like. So if you have dumbbells, they're hanging down at the sides, you lift yourself to standing, and then you carefully sit yourself back into the chair. So if you are not used to coming back into that chair without holding on to the sides of the chair, then get rid of the dumbbells and just do sit stands with your body weight. Squeezing the buns on top, then sitting the booty back into the chair, making sure your chair is safe underneath you before you sit. So if you have the ability to do your sit stands, but you need those hands for support, that's what you do. For those of you that need a little more advanced movement, you could use your dumbbells and you could stand up, and instead of sitting all the way back down, you're just doing a little squat and then you're standing up. So you're doing a little squat movement, but then you're standing up. You really want to keep your chest lifted, keep your booty pressing back. It's just a little mini squat. You're not going to go all the way back to the chair if you've got the dumbbells in your arms. Squeezing up, sitting down, or simulating sitting down. And you'll really feel your thighs, especially if you're not used to doing these with dumbbells. So again, I call it a mini squat. You're not trying to go all the way back to the seat if you've got the dumbbells in your hands. But if you don't have the dumbbells in your hands, you could be doing the mini squat, or you could be doing full release to a seat, full stand, full release to a seat, and full stand. Beautiful. Keep going while I'm talking. Hopefully you're getting a little bit of energy built up because that's a large muscle group exercise. And then let's all release. Take the time to sit back in the chair. Begin to relax a little bit. We are still working. I'm going to have you use the dumbbell of your choice for some knee lifts. So you could use whatever weight you want. It could be 5 pound, 3 pound, 2 pound, 1 pound. You can just simply set that on your leg lightly, and you're going to be using your seated position as your root. Your belly's firm. The leg that has the dumbbell on it, you can knee lift and release. So that dumbbell is just adding resistance. If that feels like too much weight for you to do knee lifts, then of course you could do it without the dumbbell. So you are going while I'm talking. You can keep a personal count, and if it is hard for you to lift the leg, you can use your hand underneath that lifting leg thigh for assistance, but keep firming the belly and keep that nice posture. Squeezing the core, using your grounded rooting leg as you lift the knee of the other side. Beautiful job. And then I want you to release that, give yourself time to readjust, If you were using weight, it would go on the opposite leg. You firm the belly into the spine. You're rooting with the leg that does not have the dumbbell. And then the dumbbell side can do knee lifts. If that is too much weight, if you don't need extra weight, then you just take the weight off, but you continue the knee lift. If it is difficult to lift your leg, then you can gently use hand underneath the thigh to assist that lift, but still thinking about rooting into the stabilizing legs, sitting nicely tall, keeping chest open. So you are making this work for you. It is your personal workout. Nice. And release. Beautiful. Shake that out a little bit. I'm going to take a couple tie the shoe stretches. So set your dumbbell down. I want you to lean forward like we did earlier and let the hands release down the sides. Just because we just did a little lower body, the low back might feel that. And then firm the belly, lift the chest first, hands to lap and sit back tall. And then one more time, lean forward, firm the belly, let the hands slide down the sides of the shins or the ankles or the feet. And then firm the belly, bring hands to palms, open the chest, and lift up. Nice. I'm going to incorporate one more dumbbell movement here. I'm going to take a dumbbell, holding at the sides, and I'm just going to kind of press it in. So I'm gently pressing the ends of the dumbbell, I'm firming the belly, and this is going to be an oblique exercise. So you're almost pressing the dumbbell, but gently. Elbows are bent and fairly close to you, and then trunk rotate to your right. And then squeeze the belly to center, and trunk rotate to your left, and squeeze the belly to center. So the main goals are to keep yourself tall, to keep your belly firm, and to keep re-squeezing the belly with every repetition. It's trunk rotation. So we're working through the core muscles with this. I wanted to show some exercises that were a little more non-traditional with the dumbbells so that you can see all the different ways you can utilize dumbbells. Trunk rotation and to center, trunk rotation and to center, trunk rotation and to center, trunk rotation and to center. Nice. You can take the same one dumbbell, and I'm going to be about a hip's distance apart, maybe even a little wider than hip's distance. You really want to feel supported. And just know that you can prop your forearm or your palm lightly on your right knee. Your left hand takes the dumbbell. You press your upper arm back so that it's close to the body. You give yourself an angle so that you won't hit the back of the chair, and you squeeze back. So this is a tricep kickback. So as you squeeze the dumbbell back behind you, I hope you feel the back of your upper arm. Let the shoulders be low. Let the belly be firm. And you're squeezing back and you're bending at the elbow. Notice how the upper arm does not move. It's locked in position. It's the hand squeezing back to extend the arm and then bending at the elbow in a tricep kickback. Super easy to let the upper arm move around, but we want to try and keep that still. Beautiful, building a little tricep heat. The next time the dumbbell softens, you come up, you roll out the shoulders, we switch hands. Get a nice wide base of support. You could use palm support or forearm support, belly's firm. We're working on the second side now, so the right arm can press close to the body. Squeeze back, lengthening the arm, working the tricep, and then bend at the elbow. Squeeze it back, feel the tricep squeeze, and bend at the elbow. Each time you extend the dumbbell behind you, give the dumbbell a little squeeze. That enables the tricep to contract a little further. Belly's nice and firm, you're nicely rooted on your legs. Your spine feels long instead of rounded. Your chest still feels open while we're squeezing back and bending at the elbow. Squeezing back and bending at the elbow. Squeezing back and bending at the elbow. You got it. Now I want you to shake that out, release your dumbbell. And from this position, you guys, I know we're almost finished with the workout, so I want to give a little cool down. So if you like to stand for cool down, we're doing movements just like we did at the beginning. I'm going to incorporate the ball for the last movement. So you could be standing or you could be seated. You could be doing a little march to get the body flowing and the movement again. And then from this position, let's just relax the legs, but let them be a sturdy support, firm the belly, and take those figure eights again. It could be standing. I don't need you to press the ball. I just want you to hold the ball between the palms. If it gets difficult, you can even start softening the elbows and adding a little bit of hip sway to this. It's more for loosening up at this point. Feeling your muscles. I want it to be kind to the body. So I'm getting looser and looser with these figure eights. I'm letting my elbows bend. I'm letting the ball almost sweep towards the body. And it almost turns into a little bit of a rowing motion, like we're rowing the boat, rowing the boat, rowing to one side, rowing to the other side. Keep going. If you'd like, you could do this from seated as well as from standing. So we're just getting the muscles loose. We're drawing the ball back to the side body in a little bit of a rowing motion. So it's kind of somewhere between your figure eight and your row. You got it. Relax that. You can release your ball. And then just chest opener, just into stretches, our final stretch. Opening the body. Nice. Notice how that feels. Feeling the body nice and tall. We did quite a bit of upper body, so just let that right ear release towards the right shoulders. If you've fallen asleep, shoulder blades level and low. And then let the chin draw down towards the chest, but think about the shoulder blades sliding down the back. And then the left ear to the left shoulder, as if you've fallen asleep. And then coming down. Lift the head to neutral. Give yourself a nice inhalation, filling the body with air, and exhale. Release out any tension, any strain, any fatigue. And again, take a nice inhale and an exhale, releasing out the air, leaving the body feeling healthy and feeling good. Nice. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed our playground ball and dumbbell workout. And keep moving, you guys. Stay happy and safe and healthy.